I'm glad everybody made it. I wanted my dad on the stage. It was important for me to do this. You can see the place was a mess when we bought it. There was no roof over here. You see the brand new boards? When we bought this place, you walked in and all you saw was the sky. The stage was rotted from the rain. It was all. I started fixing the roof. My dad found out I was doing it. He come down and helped me put the roof on. Over the years, me and my son, we put brand new tin on it. In the last 2 months we spent inside here. One of the most grueling jobs was filling in all those cracks behind you where the wood used to be, where the seats were anchored. It was a very, very difficult job to dig that wood out and put brand new concrete in. My son worked tirelessly to do that, and I hope this is the first of many. I know it's a little warm today, but I wanted to get it going. It's a work in progress. Maybe later in the fall, and weather's nicer, the place will be cleaner, bigger, and we'll do it again. And I'm going to let my dad sing now. You're singing along first.
I go way back to when you had a radio in the house you were lucky. And had a radio and Jenny was playing music, West Virginia. You had a 15-minute Western program on there. And they always ended the show with the hymn. And I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to start with the hymn.
Or Angela.
I come to the garden of gonna do it on the roses and the voice I hear for the God my ear. my notes. Put another log on the fire. Cook me up some bacon and some beef. Go out to the car, chase that tire.
Why your dad on the stage? What was the motivation for that?
Well, I figured if I fixed it, somebody had to be the first one on it, and it was going to be my dad. It's just sentimental.
Yeah. So what did it mean to you to have him on the stage?
It was a big deal.
Yeah. Why?
I love him. I do. I love you, Dad. I wanted to see him up there. I mean, if anybody deserved to be the first one up there, it was him.
Cryin. about 18 doing that.
Did you play in a band?
Now and then, most of the time it was just me and my brother. He was the guitar player, and I just went along saying, "Me too."
That lady told me that they played at her wedding 58 years ago.
Who's that?
I don't know. Some lady, I says, "Did you know my dad?" She says, "Yeah." He says, "Him and his brother played at my wedding." And I says, "How long you been married?" She says, 58 years.
Wow. Wow.
It was.
Did you teach yourself to play the guitar?
With the help of my brother, he was an accomplished musician.
Ennio, was it an accomplished musician?
Oh yeah. He played many instruments.
Yeah. Did you play a lot of instruments too?
No, just the guitar.
Yeah.
Guitar and mandolin a little bit.
Oh yeah, we were on. I think it was in 1952. We were on a talent show in Dillonvale, in Pittsburgh.
You were?
KDK, yeah.
Wow. You and Ennio, or just you?
Just me and my brother, yeah.
Wow. Did you win?
No, we didn't win. We thought one of the guys, stageman, says, "I'll see you next week," but we got beat out by a 12-year-old kid was doing. I don't even remember what he was doing.
I watched it. We didn't have a TV. We went down to an aunt's house. Knew he was going to be on. My mother took us down to her sister's house because they had a TV and we didn't. So they played Tick-Tock Polka.
What drew you to music?
Well, my brother, like, he's 5 years older than me, and he wanted somebody to play along with him, and I was handy, you know.
Yeah.
And then my dad, well, we're Italian, we all like music, and he kept us going in that direction, you know.
Do you still enjoy it as much as you used to?
I still do, but I don't do it as often. I'm getting along in years.
Yeah. How old are you?
If everything goes well, I'll be 88 next month.
And you've been playing guitar for how long?
What's that, 72 years?
That's awesome.
You'd think I'd be playing a lot better than I do.
No. What's your favorite song?
The wedding, what they call it, the wedding song.
Yeah.
Oh, How We Danced on the Night We Were Wed. That one, yeah.
What's your favorite song to play on stage?
Carmen.
Yeah, that's a nice
Does
one.
it ring a bell?
Yeah. Why do you like that one?
It moves along pretty good, and my uncle loved it. As a lot of his friends and my friends liked it. It's popular years ago.
Yeah.
Almost every time he plays, I mean, there's 1,000 songs he knows. He can't play them. You can't sit down and play 1,000 songs every night.
Right.
When he plays, if he plays 20 or 50 songs in a night, one of them is The Keys in the Mailbox.
Yeah, we had. I get a lot of credits for that one.
I spent a lot of time with your mom, and it was slow. It was slow, and the big catalyst was Angelo got laid off. He signed up to work in a carpenters union. He learned something. Rebuild the stage, learn something, make a few bucks, and get the place on a rebound.
So Angelo is who? Just so that everybody knows.
He's my 25-year-old baby, and he was instrumental in doing it. He did all the dirty work, most of the climbing, the demolition, and the tough part was those slots in the floor, rotten wood in the floor where the seats were anchored. That was an awful tough job.
So what did it mean to have Angelo working with you on this project?
That was important, and I could see him taking pride in it. I could see, sometimes I'd say, that looks pretty good, and it wasn't good enough for him. He had to do it better,
Yeah.
And I like to see that. He was determined to do it right.
Favorite picture was of the three of you together, Dad, Angelo, and you together afterwards. And I just thought that picture said like 3 generations, of family doing something that's important. And really it was all for you.
I appreciate it.
So the restaurant was built in 1925?
91 years old.
Yeah. And so how old is the theater?
And I guess I looked to, somebody says it might be added on later. Not according to the patterns in the brick and so on. To me, it was all built at one time, and the other indication of it is that there's an orchestra pit in the front, and that's where they typically had a piano player that would give a little bit of sound effects to silent movies, and movies were not talkies until 1927. So you wouldn't need an orchestra pit for sound effects after 1927. And the fact that there is an orchestra pit for sound effects makes me believe that the 1925 date of the building includes the theater.
Do you know back then, was the restaurant set up to be a restaurant?
No, it was.
What was it back then?
It was a jewelry store. Then it was an A&P at one time. It was a pet supply store at one time. It was a restaurant earlier. Then it was a liquor store.
Wow.
And then it was back to a restaurant again, and small scale. And then we bought it. It was a restaurant, and we bought it, and Mom made it a little bit